And now, 3 minutes later, no, just kidding, I did a whole other video and then I watched this other video, so it's actually half an hour later. I'm gonna do a video on conscious consumerism? Was that the topic? I think so. I feel very unprepared and put on the spot. This is very uncomfortable. You should pay attention to what you buy. That's the idea of conscious consumerism. I spent $2 more on avocado because I bought organic. $2 for a stinking It's a very good avocado though. It's very good. And the regular ones were on sale for 99 cents. Conscious consumerism, from a macroscopic point of view, if you haven't seen The Story of Stuff, it's an oversimplified model of the economic system of stuff. Using resources, refining them, manufacturing things into products, selling products, buying them, using them, and then throwing them away and burying them in the ground, or burning them and putting them in the air. Which we all kind of know that thing. It's just that the ecosystems don't do this. Yes, they make waste, but then other parts of the ecosystem use that waste and put it back. Yes, they have energy inputs, and yes, there's heat loss, but things decay and turn into soil and grow new things. Why can't our garbage isn't going to make new things? It's hurting the air. And also, just, in industrial processes. Oh, this is way too, okay, too broad, narrowing it down. In the book, did I ever talk about the biomimicry book that I read? I don't think I really did. I need to look at it for inspiration, so look up my nostrils for a second. Yes. Toxic things. Industrial processes are not the best. So, there are different ways to, tax carbon, do a cap and trade system, and Hank has really great videos about that stuff, so that stuff that uses more carbon and pollutes more is more expensive, and that coerces companies to use less carbon, make products more sustainable. So that's one thing that's good. Because, I don't know, buying locally is something we can do. Buy local food. I don't buy local food. I shop at KFC. So, bad for me. Also, the way stuff is made, we have layer on layer and all these toxic chemicals, and none of them are approved by no one's done tests on these chemicals, but that's kind of getting into conspiracy. It's I don't know, how paranoid do you want to be about this, basically, is you can be as paranoid as you want, because who knows what these chemicals are doing, and who knows if the whole environment and world is going to erupt anytime. I don't know. There's a new movie coming out. There was a trailer with Star Trek Into Darkness of this, these people on this ship, and they're all nice and pretty, and then everyone on Earth is poverty, overpopulation, very, very bleak. And there was just some image of, I don't know, a person, it would be an upper class white male, but he was living like someone in a slum would, and that's just that, I don't know, it just, maybe it's just because that image was just seemed very wrong. And I don't want us to end up there. So that's why we have conscious consumerism. But is that even the solution? Is conscious consumerism even going to fix anything? Because why are people going to pay $2 more for organic? Why would you do that? You have to really believe that organic is really good, and you have to really believe in everyone else that they're going to buy organic too, so that it gets cheaper. But it's not going to get cheaper until people want it to. So where do we start? Do we start with the regulations that make it cheaper, or that make other stuff expensive so it's the same price because the cheaper stuff is now more expensive? Or do we start with consumers choosing to buy more expensive stuff? Ideally, the economic system would work and you would buy what's cheapest, and that would be best for the environment, but that's not what's happening now. Back to layers upon layers. When we throw stuff away, we don't want to just throw stuff away and bury it or burn it, because there's a lot of toxic stuff, especially electronics. Oh, throwing electronics away is so... But electronics recycling is also horrible, because they just ship it somewhere to China or some slum, and then little kids smash it apart and take out, the precious metals, and then recycle those, and they burn the rest, like the plastics and everything. So it's almost worse than just putting it in a landfill. Yes, you're getting a little bit back, but child labor and air pollution, local air pollution, which is only bad for them until it's air, and so it goes all over the world, and then it pollutes us too. So on the one hand, as a consumer, you can choose to buy the more expensive stuff, the shade-grown coffee, the local produce, the organic produce. Support companies that are making an effort to be green. You can do socially responsible clothing, vegan shoes if you want, because then meat's a whole nother thing, because it takes 10 times as many resources to feed people with meat than other ways. And also just the way so much meat is produced, it's sustainable, in small doses. You can plant crops and then, have cows graze there the next year, and then have chickens eat the cow poop the year after that, or the worms in the cow poop, however it works. That's great. But when you have a huge pig farm, they just nitrogen into the... what is it, nitrogen? I don't even know. Too many chemicals. Yeah, sure they're not chemicals. Too many nutrients, I don't know, into the water, and leaches everywhere. And then energy. Energy is a thing as well. A third of our energy, Puget Sound energy, a third of it is from coal. And that's from Montana or something. So then you can try to be a conscious consumer and buy a green car, and an electric vehicle, or a hybrid. And sure, I guess it's cheaper, depending on your energy prices. I think it's cheaper. Electricity, I mean. But then, if you're getting all your energy from coal, then it's not that much. I think it is better than gasoline still. But that's another thing. Buying a hybrid car doesn't take away your eco guilt. Doesn't make up for all your eco sins. So the ideal loop, the ideal production line is a loop, right? Where either companies are making products that last a lot longer, that computers, that instead of buying a new computer every 3 or 4 years, you update small parts of it and keep the same case. That's not popular. Phones, that's not going to be popular. I don't know, refrigerators, printers, lamps, how do we do that? Sofas, there's stuff there's stuff that gets bad. So we want to reuse that as much as we can. cars are lasting a lot less for much less time than I feel they used to. The computers in the cars I don't know. There are ways that companies can make their things last longer, but then there are also like manufacturing things that we can do to make them more recyclable. So you can build them to disassemble them easily and reuse the pieces. Melt down the plastic. I don't know. But like juice boxes, they're like 4 layers of stuff. You can't take them apart and reuse them. You just have to throw it away. You can't recycle it. Then we can also stop using toxic things in manufacturing processes. Yes, engineers were smart and they said, oh, this is going to work well if we use this toxic chemical. Well, they're smart, so they can find other ways to not use toxic chemicals. And that's going to be, you don't have to be concerned about the environment for that. Just be concerned about your health. Be concerned about your kids' health. Be concerned about your breast milk. I don't know. Be concerned about something. But it all comes down to price, because that's the choice. That's what you see. You don't do all the research behind for everything that you buy. It should be based on price. So again, do you wait for the consumers to care enough about this stuff to pay more, or do you take the risk of relying on regulations that could be corrupt? There are a lot of downsides to the cap and trade system of carbon taxing, of raising the prices of cheap things. Things are way underpriced. Gas should be a lot more expensive, which is why it kills me. It kills me that all the grocery stores now are doing fuel discounts for summer. Yay, save on gas. No! Don't save on gas, it's killing you. And then transportation is a whole other thing. How can you expect someone in this society to not drive a car? You have to drive a car to get anywhere, to be any type of successful, to live your life. So, do you rely on those, like we have a ride match thing with Bellevue College, do you rely on those, or do you rely on higher-ups saying, we're going to have a public transportation system, we're going to take this many cars off the road, we're going to make gas $10 a gallon. I don't know. And the thing about carbon taxes is that they might not even make that much of a difference, because it's pretty inelastic. You can raise people rely on gas to the point where if you raise parking prices, if you raise gas prices, people are going to be hurt and they're going to be angry, but they still have to get to work. What's the alternative? If it takes you 2 hours by bus to get from your house to work, and it takes you half an hour to drive there, there are payoffs and hard choices with anything. So it takes a lot of effort to try to consume ecologically, soundly, responsibly is the word I was looking for there. It takes a lot of effort, and you don't see the payoff individually, because individually it honestly doesn't make a difference. Your car doesn't make a difference. If no one drove cars, and if there was only one car in the world, who cares? No one would care. But because there are millions and millions of cars, everyone cares. It makes a huge difference. If you were to just share your ride with somebody at Bellevue College, you can get a discount permit for 3 people. That would reduce. There's reducing in different ways, CO2 emissions or whatever you want. And I'm way over time. This is the messiest video of my life. But that's there's reducing in half, and then, you know, there's actually making steps to permanently change things, because you can go without, but it doesn't necessarily become a habit, and it doesn't necessarily change the underlying problem. So to change the underlying problem, you either have to have people who really, really care, and a lot of them, or you have to have regulations that are successful. So that's my messy, macroscopic, small, big, everywhere view of the environmental problems today. Thank you.